Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. I hope you had an amazing day. And coming to the mic tonight is Shanetta. Help me out, Shanetta.
You got this, Shanetta Malkia.
Malkia, thank you, darling.
No worries, Queen.
And Shanetta is the founding president and executive director of Empowerment Essence, Inc. Shanetta is widely known throughout the Washington metropolitan area, Maryland, and nationally. She is a spokesperson and advocate for suicide prevention and anti-bullying programs, sitting on the Maryland ASCEN Advisory Board and Maryland Governor's Commissions for Suicide Prevention. The founder and executive director of Empowerment Essence, an organization dedicated to eradicating bullying and suicide beginning in Maryland and D.C. communities. Malkia is also a former Miss Maryland, United States 2014 and a leading clinician and workshop facilitator for community organizations and government agencies. She is seeking innovative ways to grapple a growing problem within communities. Malkia believes one life saved is one life given. Well, welcome. You are a busy bee, and I just love what you're doing because we need more soldiers like you to support these bad behaviors that our society has grown to be a norm in our society. So let me just ask, how did you get started with this? What's the beginning?
You know, it's funny that you asked that because at the conclusion of our grant session today, that is exactly what the grant reviewer said to us. We've seen your story now from beginning to where you are today, and we're excited to see where you're going. So it's a journey. We started in 2014, and I will tell you that I had no clue that God was opening doors for us to move the way that He's opened these doors. I was looking to volunteer and work in mental health because I had lost my best friend to suicide in 2014, and I had never spoken about my suicide attempt. I had not opened up about anything about the things that I had gone through. My family didn't find out until I was 34. And when I entered the Ms. Maryland pageant, I had to pick a platform. And so I picked suicide prevention and anti-bullying, not necessarily just in understanding the whole component of the mental health aspect of it, but really wanting to speak to other individuals so they can really start speaking out. And it grew. It has grown. And I am excited. This is, it's an amazing journey. It's a lot of work that we've been able to accomplish, a lot of lives that we've been able to touch. But ultimately, this was started because I was bullied from the 5th grade into the 10th grade, right here in PG County, Maryland. I reported a lot of bullying incidents. The teacher said, students will be students. You got to be stronger. You need thick skin. Some kids go through the fact that their parents say, well, not in my house. Either you're going to go outside and you're going to fight, or you got to come here and deal with me. So there were a lot of different components that were taking place around me and within me that I had not opened up about. And in my mid-20s, I was spiraling and I attempted suicide. I hadn't talked about the rape that I experienced at 16. I hadn't talked about a lot of the different traumas that I went through. And you just didn't speak about mental health in the Black community and my family. What happened in this house stays in this house. So that's just the way that things were. And once I spiraled and I had my attempt, I'm very thankful that the officer gave me some tough love that night. She really asked me, said, I think what I was going through was worth me taking my life. And she didn't let me answer. She told me no, it wasn't. And that was the first bit of tough love that I could accept and listen to. But at that moment for me, I said, well, it was too much for me because I really felt the pain. I really wanted everything to end. I didn't want to go through any more trauma, no more pain, no more hurt. So it was easier. Speaking about it wasn't going to be easy. And here we are today, 5 years later, 2019. October will be 5 years old. We have facilitated workshops, conferences. I've traveled to be a keynote speaker. I've been a keynote speaker here in Maryland. We advocate for our youth and our families in the area. And we are changing lives one step at a time, one life at a time.
Mwah, I love you.
I love you.
Because bullying and how we treat each other as human beings has definitely gone off the charts. It's like nobody has regard for human life, feelings, how other people are feeling, about their actions. It's like, I want to do this to you and I'm going to do it.
It goes a little bit further because bullying during the time frame which I was going to school, and I'll be 40 in September 26th. My daughter's 23. I'm thankful that she didn't have to experience a lot of those experiences that I did. I was thrown in a creek. My bullies, I was really, really tiny. I was so small, and my bullies were 6'3" and 6'2", I believe. 165, 185. And so they were, and when I tell you I was a tiny little thing, I'm still a little bit small now. I say I'm thin, thick now, but then I was skin and bone. And so to go through that experience, one of the most tragic, devastating experiences me for bullying was coming down the street on Riverdale Road. And there was a police officer in the parking lot that's right there on Riverdale Road if you're coming down. And my bullies had another young lady slap me in the middle of the street.
Wow.
Officer was there and did nothing.
Oh, wow.
So it started helping me develop to wear masks, saying, okay, well, then people really don't care. Because I remember going through bullying incidents in grade school, living in Richmond, Virginia, and I told this little boy kept hitting me in my head on the window at the school bus. And I told him, if you don't stop putting your hands on me, I'm going to bring a knife to school and I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to cut you. And all the kids were like, ooh, and, they told. And nothing happened initially. But I think about that today, and had I performed that way today, that video would have went viral.
Yeah.
That video would have been praised. It would have been glorified as if it was okay, but nobody would have got to the root, as they did not, because that was my first introduction to therapy. Mm-hmm. She's a child, she's disruptive, so we need to get her some help. But nobody ever really addressed the root of the concern. Why was I starting to become so angry? Why was I reacting this way? A child, think about it, at age 1 and 2 years old, they're developing. They're happy. They're thinking about love. They want to be accepted. They feel like they're going to be accepted, and there's no right or wrong, how I should look, how I shouldn't look at that early age.
Right.
Planted. So going through that change and realizing that this is not okay. What they say is okay, what society says is the norm, is not cool, and that hurt. It hurt like hell.
Yeah.
Because if you're getting beat up all the time, because parents, sometimes I tell parents all the time, if you're thinking about, why is my child being disruptive in class? Why is my child so angry? Why is my child starting to withdraw? Get to the root of it. Because nobody ever addressed why I was acting in this way. Why would I want to bring a knife to school? I'm only in grade school. I'm not even 10 years old. Where do I get that thinking from? What did I see? What was I exposed to? So a lot of youth right now are being exposed to behaviors that are damaging themselves and damaging other people. But we have to, as adults and as leaders in our community, be the first to stand up and say, I apologize. We have not been the promising role models that you necessarily need. From school to at home. I think about our government. We talk about bullying. We bully our president. Our president bullies other individuals. It's in the politics. It's in everyday life. And it doesn't just happen amongst our youth. Kids, parents, students to teachers, teachers to students, administrators to employees. It's a growing concern, and it's alarm that is now affecting the mental well-being of anybody else.
You're so right. I can remember being bullied as well and running home from school just so I wouldn't get banked.
Yes.
By other, and I'm the loving type. I've always been that, warm type person, and I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to be that person.
And you shouldn't be forced to. And nobody should.
No.
Right. You have to defend yourself.
Yes. It's
fighting for your life when you're 10 years old. That's just appropriate.
And to think about it, our babies are in school now. They're cutting themselves in the bathrooms. I tell teachers, check the bathrooms, do a sweep. Do the sweep. Check it, because that's also where a lot of kids are being jumped and being bullied in the bathrooms. Clear it out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in. Break up those crowds sometime. And it's not always bad, but we have to teach our children that the behavior is unacceptable. The videos they go through and outside of just snatching them down, find out the IP source of those videos and start holding those individuals accountable. We have some laws in here in Maryland that are helpful to some victims. That's Grace's Law. That's our cyberbullying law for the state of Maryland. And now they've introduced Grace's Law 2.0, in which you don't have to show the repeated behavior, because it's hard for parents to show how many incidents have always taken place in regard to bullying. So bullying is going to be mentally, physically, emotionally, cyberbullying. Kids are being bullied because they're not having sex. Having their first sexual experiences, and then that experience is being blasted all over the internet. And it comes from what they see around them. So we have a great deal of work to do in our communities, and that's what we're doing. We're changing lives, empowering individuals to live and not die in the pain or the hurt that they experience, especially our youth.
Yes, because those are our leaders for tomorrow. And as adults, like you said, it is our responsibility to show them the way, to provide the leadership for them so that they know there's other ways of dealing with conflict. There's other ways of, treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Just treat people the way that you want to be treated.
And it's also true, too, along that same line, you're talking about parents, their responsibility to children. But parents also have a responsibility to themselves to come out of the denial of their lives. So much of what we see reflected on our children is because the parents are damaged as well, and they've never dealt with their issues. So they're just passing it on by maybe verbal abuse or whatever, physical abuse, whatever. But our children are greatly influenced by the adults and the things that we put in front of them. The level of violence that we allow into our homes via television, videos, movies.
Yes.
I'm here to tell you there are very few, if any, movies that I would take a child to see nowadays. Very few. Even some of the ones that are supposed to be children's movies.
Yes.
You really watch them. And some of it's just not pretty. The mentality and the message behind it.
Yes.
It's just bad all the time.
Those are those seeds that are planted, and they're nourished and they're groomed. And a lot of the youth movies are not really youth movies, but if we're honest about it, a lot of our kids are not watching those Disney movies, and even the Disney movies have some interesting messages sometimes. As child-friendly as they should be, they have some interesting messages, and we have to, as parents, really look at the in-between of those guidelines as well. So.
Yes, and I think it's important that we teach our children to be responsible on social media, because now one of the things that's happening now is when you go out to look for a job, employers are wanting your Facebook page so that they can see your character.
Yes. We talked about that because a lot of kids, they don't think about the next step as far as college all the time or looking for employment, because that's just not where their mindset is. And they don't realize that, yes, people want to evaluate who's coming on board. It's a lot of competition out here. But see, that goes into a different realm of the society picture, the society box. So society tells so many individuals that you have to live in this specific box and you have to perform and be this certain way in order for you to be accepted. One of the things that we talk about in our training is that you are accepted. You have the tools and things that you need, so carry yourself in a manner that is attractive as to who you really are and not who you're trying to be. Some of these youth are demonstrating the behavior because they have to fit in, or they're going to be bullied, or they're going to be threatened. So they don't want to be the aggressor. They don't want to be the one that's skipping school or acting a fool. But that's what they've been taught to know. So I challenge our administrators and our teachers and those that are working with our youth to have a little bit more empathy and understanding. Because some only had 8 crayons in their Crayola box, and others had 64, so they didn't have as many options.
Right. That's so true. That is so true.
Wow.
That is so true. Oh, wow. This is just touching to the core, you know, because, I mean, I've seen young girls, you know, they don't have, a lot of them do not have, they're looking for attention in the wrong way.
Yeah, I did that. I'm off of it.
I did that too. And, you know.
Me three.
We all been there. But now it's a thing where it's a lot different because our parents, you know, I know my mother, if I had my skirt up too high, when I walked out that door, she'd be like, on it, pull that skirt down. I would have to roll. I remember rolling my skirt up once I got outside the house. And then when I came in, I had to make sure it was back down over my knees.
Yeah.
But now it seems like the parents allow the kids to go out looking like that from the door. They don't seem to say anything, you know, Daisy Dukes.
Lord have mercy. Yes. Going to school.
Right.
Middle schoolers, grammar schoolers wearing Daisy Dukes going to school. And to me, it's shocking. And someone, now that it's gotten hot, their midriffs are bare. They have on these tops. Now, these are grammar school and middle schoolers. And some of them are fairly developed. They look like, I don't know, a 22-year-old. That's the way that they're dressed. And their parents let them out of the house like that.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some, not all. But it's just like, to me, it's because I am of an older generation, it's just shocking to me, the fact that our young girls are not being given values that teach them to value themselves. So as a result, you have these young boys who feel that they can treat them any way they want to. They can call them anything they want to. They can whatever. And so you're creating layers and layers and layers of abuse.
Yes.
And these young girls don't even realize that they're being abused. They don't realize that when someone calls them out of their name, it's not a term of affection. It's abuse. It's mental abuse.
Yes.
It's just verbal. And they think, oh, it's nothing, you know. But it's just critical. And bullying, I see it very frequently. I see it as children are coming and going from school, especially after school, when they don't think that they have anyone who's going to catch up with them at the moment. They figure they can, on the way home, they can do whatever they want to.
That's because of the policies. The policies for a lot of the school settings that happen off campus are not the school's concern. So that's where things need to first start. And we talk about a little bit about those policies because they have to, our children are in the responsibility of our schools from the time they get on that school bus to the time they make it to school and the time I get back home, if you ask me. I wish my school would have been held accountable for me being assaulted on the middle of the street trying to make it home, and for me to report it and to be told there's nothing we can do because it's not on our grounds. Why not?
Right. Exactly.
That's tough.
Exactly. And not only that, I mean, it's in the workplace. It's like you were saying. I mean, I've been bullied, you know, on my job. And it was accepted.
Yeah.
And then you'd speak about it. And so it's interesting. We do some trainings in the workplace bullying, how to report it, how to document it, because it's very tricky sometimes. Because bullying is that behavior that intimidates or influences or tries to take control of another individual, whether it be through actions or words spoken or excluding them, teaming up with other individuals and making a person feel less than, taking the value away. For our youth, when we say bully, because it's a taught behavior, it's not, I don't like to put a label on anything or anybody, even a person that may be living with a mental illness, as May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we're speaking about the bullying and the mental health and the relation that ties into suicide and for the workplace. It's really important to document it and take action because people are dying. The incident at the workplace can lead to a parent going home and taking their life and not being there for their children. I believe that the bullying incidents that are ignored in the workplace because it's so normal, and people say, well, adults can't be bullied. Yes, the heck they can.
Right.
Yes, the heck they can. And I say that again. It's the intent. It's the intent behind the behavior. What is their intent? So they want to embarrass, they want to shame, they want to belittle, they want to take control, they want you to minimize yourself, they want you to feel less of yourself. That's what that behavior does. It makes you think about yourself in all different ways and tear yourself apart, and I'm not right, and I don't do this, or maybe I don't speak this way, or I'm not in this group, or I don't have what they have. But bullying has no care as to the status, make, or anything of a person. Neither does suicide.
Right.
But that towards anybody can take their life. So how much more important is it for employers to be aware of an individual that maybe experienced suicidal ideation? How to look for those signs in their employees? Do employers realize that the behavior you have towards some of your employees can affect their mental well-being? Are you giving them the opportunity to take a breather? To make sure they see in their doctor, giving them the time for wellness, because parents I can't take off work, I'm gonna lose my job. I don't have time to take off work. But they need that when they have children that are going through crises. They need to be there. A lot of parents are not aware because they're working. They're doing what parents are taught to do, right? You work, you take care of your family. But after we're taking care of our families and we're not taking care of ourselves, what happens to that next generation that's coming up? They learn to wear masks. They learn to work through it. They learn to get over it. Everybody can't get over it.
No. And do we really get over it?
No, you don't. There's a movie called The Gift I encourage every adult to watch because it's about a gentleman that was bullied as a child. He ran into his bullies as an adult, and it was interesting. I'll say the least.
That sounds...
What's the name of that movie again?
It's called The Gift. It's right in the red box, or you can see it on Netflix. But that is a powerful movie, and it really talks about the effects of bullying. This gentleman was now in his 30s. He was bullied as a child, I think at 9, 10, and into his teens. And it affected him until he was 30. I'll be 40 in September. I still remember my bullying incidents like it happened yesterday.
Same here.
I know the name.
Yes.
I know the size. I know where it took place. I can walk you back to that same spot. And if I was had the opportunity, I could feel it. That sting. Yes. Some of those things you can still feel it. That's a sting. And you have to heal. God is the only reason that I'm here. He's allowed me to see life through him. It wasn't therapy because I didn't have money for therapy after my attempt. They sent me home from the hospital with no resources. Nobody called and checked on me. My family didn't find out until I was 34. And now, what do? So I tried to kill myself. That didn't work. Now I got to answer questions. I got to go back home. I still got to deal with everything. But now I've even got more things on me because I attempted, and now I have another gamut of problems or different concerns that I have to work through. We have to be able to talk about what's going on in a safe environment and not be judged. Our youth need to be able to come to you and say, I'm thinking about hurting myself, but not automatically be thrown into a mental institution. They're reaching out for help. They'll shut down. And we got to do better. We have so much to do. And we do that through education. We do that through awareness campaigns. We do that by modeling the behavior that we need of individuals to accept and live in. We need to model acceptance. We need to model community. We need to model love. We need to model being okay with not being okay. We need to speak about mental health and the stigmas. It's not just for the crazy people. We need to get rid of the what happens in my house stays in my house.
Yes.
Have more time. We need to have more empathy. We need to have more understanding. We need to have more accountability for the legislation that's in place right now. We need individuals to take off their masks, our politicians, our senators, our governors, our state officials, our school officials. We need you to take off your mask and remember that outside of it, every person is human. And just because it's a shadow to you, it's a monster to somebody else. And losing one child is more than enough in my book to suicide because of an inhumane behavior.
Yes, I agree. Because, I mean, I think, oh my God, this is just so deep. And, you know, that stigma is got to go so that we can heal. All of us can heal. Because, like I heard somebody say, all of us have had trauma.
Yes.
Yes. No human being on this earth,
amen,
has had some type of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we're going to continue to have that until the day we leave this earth.
Yes, we're going to have adversity,
Yeah.
but we got to learn how to walk through it. One of the things that I'm really recently focusing on is learning how to master your emotions. I was never taught that, and I'm 39. I'm thankful my pastor started a series in September last year, really on dealing with your emotions, because you don't talk about it in church. You don't talk about it really in the schools. And you really don't start talking about your emotions until you get in trouble and they put you in therapy and they ask you, do you understand what this is? What emotion is that? And they ask you these crazy questions. It's like, you're making me feel even further insane at this moment, and I'm going to shut down.
Right.
Therapy is okay. I want to say that. I want to make sure I say that, especially in our Black community. Therapy is okay. There is nothing wrong with asking and seeking help. I wish that more of us did it more often, so we didn't have individuals that were suffering silently and feeling they were going to be judged. I need you to reach out. In Maryland, 1-800-422-0009 is the crisis hotline. Please use it. It's 24 hours a day. You can also use the national hotline number, 1-800-273-TALK. I like the fact that they say talk, because it's not easy to talk about your pain or your trauma. I encourage everybody that is attempting to help, even our caregivers. Our caregivers need care. You have to rebuild yourself because you're pouring so much out. To our youth that are listening, or the parents that are listening, parents, I encourage you to go hug your child tonight and just make sure they know that that you love them and that you're really there. Outside of just being the mom, dad, grandma figure, they need to know that you genuinely care.
Yes.
They need to know that, yeah, mom, dad, they've been through this, and not the, oh, I've been through this already, do it my way. No, because what we've gone through is very different from what they go through today.
Oh, yes. Yes.
They're trying to please us.
Yeah.
Our kids have so many different things and objectives that they're trying to do, and they're learning and they're finding their way. And some children, when they get to college, they have meltdowns, and we have more suicides that happen in college because they're failing, or they don't fit into that realm, or they can't disappoint mom or dad, or what's going to happen. Everybody is going through and trying to do the best they can. So we need to give everybody that opportunity to do such.
Yes. And support. You know, when you see somebody struggling, it's nothing wrong to give somebody a hug. Can I help you with something? You know, just those small little gestures make
express fellow
a
feeling.
difference.
Express fellow feeling.
Yes.
That's something that we don't do anymore. It's not the norm for people to express fellow feeling.
That's good.
You know, it's more about, what can I get from you? What can you do for me? It's actually very selfish, self-centered mental place that we've come to. So that attitude of fellow feeling, you know, I know how you feel. I've been there. I would want to be where you are. And I can't do anything really, but I can listen.
Yes.
And maybe I can find something that I can do to help you. That fellow feeling, it's like years ago, again, neighbors, the neighborhood. The neighborhood was the neighborhood. Everybody belonged. I mean, a child couldn't walk through the neighborhood without passing the Davises and the Powells and the Pounds, and whatever you did got back to your mother.
Yes.
But it was not done out of meanness. It was done out of love and concern for you. And there was that fellow feeling, the same thing, borrowing a cup of sugar, stopping by the neighbor's house for just a cup of coffee, especially if they knew that you were going through a hard time. I can remember some things growing up in my neighborhood, and people would just stop by, didn't have anything, but they spend the time.
And that's good.
Embrace you because you were going through something.
Yes.
Now times people are so busy, they're like, oh, well, like you said, they'll get over it.
Yes.
Fine,
Yes, and that's none of my business.
Exactly. It's none of my business. That's one of the favorite ones. It's none of my business. I don't need to get involved.
No.
We need that fellow feeling. We need to learn how to embrace each other again. As adults, we need to learn how to embrace each other so that we can embrace our
It's
children.
so unfortunate that we have to learn how to care about each other. That is really sad. We have come to a bad place in society that we have to learn how to care about one another. Mm-hmm. That is so,
It's almost unbelievable. It's unbelievable with all the technology and all the things that we've accomplished. We don't know how to love each other.
Yeah.
We can't care. We've got tons of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that takes the place so often in place of love, of true love. Not, whatever this nonsense that we see out here, but true love, really loving one another. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't be here. We're talking as 3 women of color. We would not be here if our ancestors had not learned how to love each other, even in the worst circumstances. Yeah. I'm not saying that it was perfect, right, but that love was there. Yeah. They cared about each other. How do we get so far away that now our children are suffering? Our children are suffering from a lack of love and a lack of care.
Yes, absolutely.
And people like you are trying to figure out, how do we fix this? How do we fix it? Because our children are dying. Yes. And bottom line is that no one ever expects their child to die before them. No one expects that. That is totally unnatural. It's totally unnatural.
We gotta have that village. We gotta have that village again.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for working on that, for putting your love and your passion into rebuilding that village and reminding each one of us that we have a part in it. We don't get to go into our little hut and close the door. we got to stay out there on the front porch and see what's going on. And
I miss that. You know what? We always used to be at least one individual in the community that you can commend and know that they will see it all. There would be there'd be no hiding from it. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. One of the biggest things that I would say that I pray that most individuals take away is that they really don't understand that they can help. Everybody can help. Everybody genuinely can help. Everybody genuinely has a part to play. We are all lifelines to somebody else. And one of the things that you mentioned a little while ago is just that if you can't do anything, you can listen. That's one of the most powerful things that anybody can give, to genuinely listen without listening to give an answer, but to just listen. Mm-hmm. And it's really important. It's really important to listen because you'll hear the underlying call for help. Mm-hmm. So we do, like one of our trainings we do is called ASCEN. And so within ASCEN training, we talk about we explore the opportunities and the invitations that people give us to ask what's going on. To ask the hard question, are you thinking of hurting yourself or dying? I've noticed certain things in your behavior, you have us concerned, and it's not easy to ask that question. Are you thinking of killing yourself? Or are you thinking of hurting yourself? It's not easy for a parent to ask their child that. Do you have a plan? What have you thought about? And then to go further after you explore that invitation and now ask that hard question, and now get to the story as to what took place, and then now trying to get them to a transition point in their thinking so you can get them safer now by referring them to an organization or a psychiatrist or mental health specialist or a regular counselor to help them channel through, because it takes time.
Yes.
I challenge people to give the time that it takes. When Everybody doesn't get it in your time frame.
No.
That's right.
No.
Everybody doesn't get it in your time frame. Everybody heals differently,
Mm-hmm.
and no one can be told how to heal. But I will say that healing is a decision.
Yeah.
And the more we express that and let people process those emotions in a positive way, because we all process and deal with our emotions, whether it be screaming, hollering, shutting down, shutting ourselves in, not communicating with anybody, becoming violent, pulling away from communities, stop from being productive at work, not caring about yourself. We all process an emotion, but there's a better way to process it. And we can be in a negative environment, in a negative circumstance, but not take on that negative mindset and not put ourselves in that negative space. So again, just learning, we want our kids to do something that adults can't do, which is have self-control.
Wow.
Or be able to manage their emotions, or even be able to identify, I'm angry. No, if you're angry, what's the root cause of the anger? What are you fearful of? What are you concerned about?
Mm-hmm.
So now we get to pull back some of those layers that we have to do. And I get it, the doctors typically only have 10 to 12 minutes with you. 5 more minutes can save a life.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
So how can our audience connect with you?
Yes, please. One, you can find me on empowermentessence.org. That's our website. So please visit empowermentessence.org. There you will see live Twitter feeds. They can see our past events, our upcoming events. We have a blog that we post. We have different resources there. We have our Bully Free Beautiful Me PSA that we produced. We're working on our next one for this year. So we're going to do 2 this year. I'm excited about that. We're getting ready to start a casting call. They can call us at 240-601-3950. Please give us a call if you have any questions, if you would like to schedule a workshop for your community. Some workshops are free, others have a small donation, but we are available. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Empowerment Essence. And you can look myself up. I'm Shanetta Malkia. I'm the Empowered Life Queen, helping individuals live and not die by adversity and pain.
Excellent.
Right. Yes, this has been such a powerful conversation.
It has been. Thank you.
I know I do my part.
Yes, ma'am, you do.
I love on everybody. I know I do my part, and I'm encouraging everybody to do their part, because if we can save one life, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge.
That is amazing. One life saved is one life given.
Yes.
And I want you to talk. I want you to talk about mental health. I want you to believe that it is okay to not be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's get somebody to help you to get to being okay.
Yes. And we're all at that place. We've all been there, not okay.
Yes.
If we're honest, if we take off these Band-Aids and tell the truth and stop making this facade.
Exactly.
Exactly.
A lot of us are not okay.
Yes.
We're just making it through each day, trying to look good. We try to look good.
I want to feel good. I want to be
going.
Good
Yes. Because you're either gone through it, in it, or coming out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
And declare by faith that you out.
Yes.
I declare by faith that you out. I just declare, and I speak that over the community that will see this video tonight. I bind the spirit of suicide. I bind the spirit of bullying. I bind the spirit of feeling of less than enough. I declare that you are empowered to live and not die in any pain or any adversity. I thank God for covering your lives. I thank God for opening doors and opening lights and taking off the Band-Aids so that you can be your free self. I declare that you are whole. I declare that you are healed, and I declare that you are delivered, and that you are loved, and that you will feel that nurture and that warm love in every breath that you take. You matter to life, and we need you.
Thank you so much, Shanita, for that.
Can't add anything to it.
There's nothing to add to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we thank you so much for your love
and
your tenacity and your courage and all of that. And we know that God is definitely fueling you through each and every day of what you do, because he loves it when his children are helping his other children.
Amen to that. We got to help each other. You know, we're going to keep helping each other and keep learning until the day he calls us home. So thank you, Father, just for the individuals that are taking the time to start the conversation. It's not easy. Everybody don't want to talk about it. So I commend you both for taking the time to just speak about mental health and your personal experiences and helping our communities live. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the amazing women of a Sister Circle Empowerment Network, ASCEN LLC, and our media partners. Let Just Minding My Business Media promote your business. For information, visit us at jmmb.asistercircle.org. That's jmmb.asistaccircle.org. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks. For when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.